Hello guys and welcome for another Hearthrune video. Another day goes by, but another build comes in. We all know that some of the weapons in New World were quite powerful for quite some time now, and we all know which are those. Yes, I'm looking at you, Sword and Shield, Hatchet and Void Blade. However, I'm not really the type of a person to always go with the easy way, as I believe that many other weapons and builds can still perform relatively good if they are used in the proper way. This is the exact reason why today we will take a quick summary of a build which I believe is not considered meta, but can still work quite well in the hands of a good player. That setup will be using the Great Axe and the Blunderbuss, and to everyone's surprise, we will not invest into intelligence as we will not use the Abyssal artifact. Before jumping into the necessary pieces of gear and the playstyle, I want to thank everyone for supporting the channel either by a simple follow or being generous with a membership or subscription. All your support is highly valued and for me it means a lot, so thank you for that. Now let's get back to the topic of discussion, which was the off-meta Great Axe and Blunderbuss with strength. The reason for investing heavily into strength instead of intelligence is the fact that your Blunderbuss scales with ratio 90 to 65%. Additionally, your Great Axe is scaling only with strength, and this will provide a nice boost to the already high base damage of the weapon. Now you might think that going for Abyss and splitting your Blunderbuss could be a nice thing, but the issue is that many people run high resistance to magic and specifically fire and void damage. This means that if you go with the Abyss, which is doing void damage, you might have a bit of a damage loss, but also staying with the default slash would not change that much. The reason for that is also the Sword and Shield players, as well as all the Hatchets, Great Swords, and even other Great Axe users. The biggest difference and the reason to run a regular Great Axe is that you will be able to benefit from picking the 3 exact perks of your choice, while the Abyss artifact can only give you 1. Additionally, you will be able to slot a gem, while you cannot do that with the artifact. On top of that, your Blunderbuss will not be able to waste any mana, so this means that even the passive of the artifact will never proc. That was the reason for not going into Elemental Great Axe. But what is the reason for not investing into intelligence and splitting your damage with the Blunderbuss? Well, it's quite the same thing. If you decide to split your Blunderbuss into fire, you will hit a wall when fighting people, as they will have a high elemental protection. Additionally, your axe will suffer in the form of base damage, as the points from the intelligence will not be useful. And last but not least, the other argument for running full thrust damage would be the reason for everyone running slash, fire and void resistance. With all that in mind, let's take a quick look at the 2 weapons of choice and their respective perks. For Great Axe, the best 3 perks would be Enfeebling Maelstrom, as it will provide a nice weaken to all nearby enemies who got hit by the ability. This will give you a good window for traits, especially against the quick and deadly assassins. For second perk, I think that investing into play crits would be the ideal choice, as this way you can apply a quick anti-heal when you are chasing someone, as all the hits from the back of an enemy are guaranteed to crit. And of course, for last perk, the most ideal fit would be the alternating enchantment, and the reason for that is the quick animation cancel of your Great Axe combos, which consist of an auto attack followed up by an ability. Important thing to remember is that your Great Axe serves a lot as a helping weapon and not so much as a main one, so keep that in mind and try to use it only when you have the cooldowns ready. Looking towards the Blunderbuss for the build, again we have to avoid all the artifacts. The best shorty which we can get in our hands would be Sundering Stacks, and at this point I think you know the reason why. For second perk, I believe that Enchanted would give you the best damage increase, and for last perk I choose to go with Keenly Empowered. The reason for that is the lack of Empower in the kit of the Blunderbuss, so getting that extra damage would always be nice for you. If you believe that any other perk will do more for you and your playstyle, feel free to change it. Those were the 2 weapons, but before going over to the armor and jewelry pieces, we need to take a look at their skill trees. For the Great Axe, I go with Charge, Reap and Maelstrom. Those 3 abilities will allow you to chase targets, mess up with their escapes, and also secure a good chunk of damage. For passives, I usually go with the ones you see on your screen, as those will provide me with chasing potential, bits of survivability and utility. For the blunderbuss, the 3 core choices will be Azo Shrapnel Blast, Net Shot and Grenades. Of course, we also want to invest a bit more on the left side, as we will use the blunderbuss as a main hand weapon and not as a supportive one. Okay, so the weapons are out of our way, but the interesting part just begins. We have to take a look at all the armor and jewelry pieces and the perk combination for our build. At this point you know the drill, as we always start with the artifact. In this combination I prefer to choose the featherweight. The main reason for it's not because the artifact is extremely good in the current meta, but simply because it will allow us to take a bit more damage due to the increased armor values, and also, more importantly, we will be able to use the heavy boots from the worm for additional speed. For last perk, I think that choosing a conditioning should be the best option, unless you want to run with full shirking heal set or you have a pocket healer. In such case, maybe choosing Vital Synergy would be better, but as I didn't go with shirking heals, I will just show you my perks. Since we have the featherweight, we can take 2 heavy pieces, and as already mentioned, the boots from the worm will be one of them with last perk Enchanted Ward. The other heavy piece can be the hat or the gloves, but regardless of which one you want to go with heavy, you should take Enchanted Ward, Net Shot and another conditioning perk. For the remaining 2 light pieces of gear, you still need to invest into Enchanted Ward and conditioning, as well as Crippling Reap perk, which will provide you with nice slow on all the enemies hit by your Reap ability from the Great Axe. You can also slot Plague Grenades, but I'm not a big fan of that perk for the last couple of seasons. When it comes to jewelry pieces, there is a really specific combination which I found quite good. For Amulet, I run with Slash Protection, which is the norm these days, but then for the other 2 perks, I take Shirking Empower and Empowered. The reason is mainly the lack of Empower on the blunderbuss and also the extended duration to all your empowers. Since stamina recovery was yet again nerfed, I'm not sure if you want to invest into it, and also you have a passive called Mauler's Resolve from the Great Axe skill tree, which works the same exact way and even on lower cooldown. For the ring, again we have something really specific, and I run Hearty, Trust Damage and Mortal Empowered. The idea is literally the same as the amulet, as you want to have high empowers for all the time possible. Last but definitely an important piece of this off-meta puzzle will be the artifact Endless Thirst, and for the last perk I think that going with Refreshing Toast might be the way. Other perk which can suit well into that combination would also be Nimble, but if you have any other one, feel free to go for it. When it comes to Hearthrune, my pick would be Stoneform, and the main reason for that is the lack of escape with the exception of your charge ability. Also having the stone effect will grant you the chance to ignore enemies while chasing someone at low HP throughout the battlefield. The attributes for the build can be different, and mainly that would depend on your playstyle. If you like to use the Great Axe a bit more than usual, then going over 350 strength would be ideal for you. If you believe in your aim or your aim lock more than your chopping axe, then maybe investing points above the 50 intelligence threshold will be the correct choice, as this will boost significantly your blunderbuss damage. My split goes with 405 strength, 50 intelligence and 200 constitution. I believe that with this one I have the perfect synergy of damage on both of my weapons, while also having a nice health pool and defense. And with that guys, I think we are done with yet another build, for which I can guarantee you a lot of fun and enjoyment, especially in small scale fights. If you didn't get to check my other builds, you can do that by choosing one of the videos you see on your screen. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.